Ah, yes, circle camping. One of those things where Snake just has a really hard time dealing with. Your opponent is just jumping all over the place, and especially in this clip that we're seeing right here, just a bunch of flip kicks, a bunch of double jumps using the platforms. It's basically Snake trying to kill a fly in a house. And it's one of those things that is just very hard to really combat and to also counter. As you can see right here, BR1 or Bruno is having a very hard time right now with just trying to get started with anything here. And in that case, in this video, we're going to be going over how to deal with circle camping. And hope you guys enjoy the content. Other than that, let's go ahead and let's get right into it. Circle camping is one of those things that Snake just has a really hard time really countering. And basically, if you guys don't know what circle camping is, you kind of want to think of it basically as it sounds, right? It's just a complete circle, and your opponent is really just moving in that way, just using jumps, really, jump and double jump. So they're circle camping, just like as you guys saw in the beginning of the video. That is pretty much circle camping. They're using their jumps, they're getting around. More notably used on stages with platforms such as Battlefield, triplats mainly too, by the way. You can do it on like flat stages like Final Destination where there's no platforms, let's say, but the thing about that is it's a lot easier to counter it rather than on platform stages. And the reason that is because when you look at this stage, right, you can see there's many areas where you can land, right? There's top platform, there's side platforms, and then there's the ground. Whereas with FD, let's say, there's only the ground, so you can only land on the ground. Or like Kalos, like you have platforms, but they're way off on the sides, so it's not going to be as effective. Or even like something like let's say like Smashville. Like sure, like there's like one giant platform, but it could be a little bit easier to cover because there's only one platform, and so on and so forth, really. So that's pretty much circle camping. And the way to counter circle camping is you really need to keep an eye on what your opponent is doing. As an example, so if I jump, you have to know that, hey, he just used his first jump. Now, is he going to use the second jump to land? Or is he just going to land after his first jump, such as like that? Or is he going to delay and go for the second jump and then land? You have to keep in mind that, of course, you know, each character in this game generally has 2 jumps, but some characters have multiple jumps, like Sephiroth having 3 jumps with his wing, or like Banjo, or even people with multi-jumps, such as like Kirby, DDD, Meta Knight, Jigglypuff, you know, characters like that. So you have to really keep an eye on how many jumps they have and how many they're using. So that's one thing to keep in mind, right? So if I jump and I jump again, at that moment, as soon as you see your opponent jump, you have to know that, hey, they're going to land. They have to land at this point. They have no other option to land. So that's the time where you actually end up taking advantage of their landing, which in this case, you have a couple of options, of course, such as dash attack. You also have like up air to catch their landing. You have up tilt, obviously. That's present as well. So just keep in mind with what options you have, and then just pretty much go from there. Now, some characters have pretty much a different movement option with like a special move or something like that, and a good like character for that is Zero Suit. Zero Suit has 2 jumps, and then she has flip kick, right? As you guys saw in the beginning of the video, you know, Lights was basically double jumping and then flip kicking and ending up over here, doing the same thing, ending up over here, and just rinse and repeat, really. So you have to know what your character has available to them. So as an example as well, like Snake has 2 jumps and then he has a B reverse, so he can land just like that. And every single character in the game, of course, can double jump and then just like air dodge in a different direction or something like that. So it's very important to note that, hey, my opponent has these options as well, depending on the character, obviously. And then you just have to try and cover that. Now, once you understand your opponent and your opponent's character, whoever they may be using, another good thing to note is where are they landing as a player. So as you saw in the clip, King Chris, or Lights, kept landing on these platforms. He kept landing on platforms over and over again. So we can expect him to land on platforms. So in this case, you know, Snake, luckily for Snake, he has options to try to cover that. Obviously C4 being one of them to cover the platform. And then he also has Grenade, of course, but, you know, Grenade isn't going to really last too long. He has Up Smash, which doesn't last as long either, but C4 kind of just sits there, obviously, for 26 seconds, and then it blows up by itself, or you could just blow it up when you know they're about to land right on that platform. He also has anti-air options, of course. Up air and rising back air are pretty good as anti-air options to cover, like, landings, and even up tilt. You just have to keep in mind that, you know, though these moves have, like, very linear hitboxes, they do have pretty good disjoints, which you can always take a look at in ultimateframedata.com, or if you have the app on your phone, you can look at it that way as well. So it's highly, highly important to just try to cover as many options as you can with Snake. You can also just throw grenades down, which is showing right here. So you could throw grenades like down or up. So you could throw them down like this. You could throw it down with the smash throw, make it go up a little bit higher. And of course, you can always throw it up. And the better you are at your cooking timing for grenades, the better you are with grenade usage in general, the easier it's going to be to actually, you know, throw those grenades down or up and catch your opponent from jumping. So if you want to stay more grounded, again, you can have like the C4 right here. Then you could like hold this for a little bit, and then throw it. And then like try to cover like the jump or something like that. Whatever you think is going to be the best for you. You can also use Nikita if you'd like, and then like crash it into the platform. That's good at covering landings too. So you can see that with all the stuff that I'm telling you guys, it's not like an end all be all. Like Snake can't do anything in that case when someone is circle camping. It is hard, but there are counters to it, and there are things that you can do to try and combat that playstyle. You guys also saw that, if you haven't already, I do have a video on Apollo Kage versus Lights. You guys could check that out. I did a match analysis on that a couple of videos back, and Apollo Kage was using a lot of forward air, a lot of back air, a lot of up air, you know, just in general, and neutral air, just to try and catch the jumps and as well as the flip kicks as well, which is going to be very helpful, at least, you know, for Zero Suit in general. Now, you might have to do different things depending on who you fight, but at least for Zero Suit, you know, that seemed to help him out a lot, just throwing out a lot of aerials. So that way you could force your opponent to not want to actually circle camp, but to just stay more grounded, because they might be thinking of you just throwing out a lot of aerials, and they don't want to get hit by that. So those are the general things you want to look out for. And yeah, that's basically it. So again, C4, you can have a grenade down and try to anti-air with like up air, up tilt, back air. But again, it's I say this again because it's very important. You have to make sure you're watching your opponent and understanding what they're doing when they're circle camping. Are they using up all their jumps? Are they using a form of movement such as flip kick with Zero Suit? You know, are they air dodging at the last second before they reach the ground? You know, or are they just landing with an aerial, let's say? So they circle camp, then they land with an aerial. You have to keep that in mind, because if you're not watching your opponent, you're just not going to be able to counter what they're doing, because you're not understanding what they're doing because you're not watching them. So highly, highly important. Again, make sure you're watching your opponent. Not only is it going to help in circle camping, but it helps in general, just becoming a better player, analyzing your opponent, and making adaptations. So I really hope this video helps, guys. If you like the content, like and subscribe. Again, I have other social media platforms down below: Twitch, Twitter, Patreon, etc. Feel free to support me and the Swiss Army. Again, thank you guys so much, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye now.
Never duplicate you, never multiply two. Everyone copy and paste, mask all up in on their face. Disney fantasy MPH, they are cool with their complacent. You feel it in you, then you brush it off you. Ain't significant, but you got something we want, and your whole life is a taunt, cause you will not just comply. Waking up for your day.